Hey guys, welcome back to Jess and Reads Romance. I'm Jessin, and today we're going to be chatting about that big announcement, that Bridgerton announcement. Yes, we have a date, and it just so happens to be Christmas. And you can bet that after a lovely post-present unwrapping, I will be binging this series. I just can't not. I mean, it's going to be there. I'm going to be so unsocial on Christmas Day. It's going to be amazing. Not only did we get a date, but we also got some very lovely images, and yes, I am talking about the stunning photos of Simon. I will pop him up right here because he is just too gorgeous to not stare at. I'm in love. He's seriously pulling off the fashion, and I do have to say that I think that the Regency fashion of the time, like the 1800s, the 1820s, I hate it. I dislike it. It's so unflattering to the body. And poor Penelope. Penelope does not have the figure for the Regency Empire waist, and it's just, yeah, as a person with hips who cannot wear anything that is straight without looking like, yeah, I sympathize. I don't like it, but the costumes are gorgeous. The actors look amazing, and we will get into like talking about specifics about certain images. But I want to talk about our expectations as readers of the series. Now, I have read the series. I love the series. Actually, the Bridgertons really were the first historical romances that I read, and I was like, I want to be a part of this family. They're just so wonderful. I've never felt a way about a series in historical romance as I do about the Bridgertons, so of course I'm extremely excited. And as avid readers, we tend to want like a perfect adaptation of the books to movies or to TV shows. And as I've grown, I know that it's not completely possible to do every little detail that happened in the book in the movies, and there's some things that must be changed for TV, but there's some things that I don't want to change. So of course we have some expectations, and I only really have one thing that I can think of off the top of my head that I want to remain the same, and I will be probably highly upset if they do change it. Like, I know showrunners want to like make their mark and, you know, put their stamp on it, their little signature and stuff, but there's only so many things that I'm like willing to compromise on. One change that they did make that I'm just like, yes, it's amazing, is diversifying the cast. I know that there was a big uproar from a certain sector of readers who did not like the changes, and I say that is bullshit, and I'm so glad that they cast actors who exuded the characters' personalities and didn't go by looks. I will say one thing about the looks department. I know I just said I don't care about like if the character descriptions perfectly match the actor who is cast, but I did notice in the group photo that Daphne is the only one who doesn't have brown hair, and that's kind of like a Bridgerton signature thing, but the names could be enough. They all have alphabetical names. But okay, now I'm ranting because I'm getting really excited about this. I cannot wait to see this on TV, but there's one thing that I'm unwilling to compromise on, and that is the love interest. And why would I be bringing that up? I will tell you why in a second. But one thing I don't want to change is the love interest, like who each Bridgerton ends up with. I hope they don't try to change that. So of course we see Daphne and Simon. Look at the sexual tension, okay? Everyone knows I love Pride and Prejudice, the 2005 version. It's the superior version, and I don't want to hear anything about it. But the hand touch and the clench after that, it's just like super iconic, and I get the same vibes with this staring into the eyes and them holding hands while dancing at a ball, and it just looks absolutely breathtaking. I just cannot wait to see these two characters. Ollie's just like walking around in the background. So I'm super attached to all of these characters, and I'm attached to their love interests. I'm a little bit worried that they might try to change it, and I definitely have a certain concern. So I'm going to go into some kind of like questions that I have about the series, like what I'm anticipating. I want to know if they're going to include certain things in the series, and I'm going to start talking about that. So if you've not read the series and you don't want to be spoiled for like anything, I'm not going to like go into spoilery details, but it could be spoilery, so I just want to let you know. If you haven't read the books, I might be talking about things that either A, you're not going to get because you have not read them, or you just don't want to hear about it and you want to be surprised. I do want to mention that a lot of read-alongs are going on right now. Teresa from Reads Romance on Instagram is starting a readathon. I believe it starts on October 26th. I'm going to link her Instagram in the description box below. I'm doing the read-along Readalong, that starts on November 16th with Peace, Love, and Books. Alecia reads Books and Krys, Booked for Romance, and Booked Diva. I will link all of them below so that you can get more details. Now I want to talk about things that I'm expecting, I'm gonna be looking for. I have questions. Are they gonna include certain things? So if you've not read the books and you don't know anything about the series, then you might not wanna watch the next part of this. So in this image of Daphne, the caption actually reads, Miss Daphne Bridgerton, desired by many and only wants one. And I'm wondering if they're going to include how all the guys and that would be eligible bachelors look at Daphne and they kind of like have friend zoned her. Like, oh, Daphne's really fun to hang out with, but like, no, I don't want to marry her. So she's been like friend zoned. And I'm wondering if they're going to include that, or if she's gonna be kind of like this desired debutante. I don't know. I mean, I'm going off of, you know, a very one sentence description of the image. So I don't know. I just really like Daphne's character and how she kind of struggled with being everyone's friend and longing for, you know, that special someone to pop up, Simon. But anyway, it's a big part of their story. So I don't imagine that they change it, but you never know. The next image that I want to talk about, because it's definitely a change, is the picture of Queen Charlotte. And Queen Charlotte was the wife of George III, I believe, like the Mad King George. And so I'm wondering if there's going to be like more royalty featured in this series. And also Jen from the Book of Refuge mentioned like Daphne is possibly getting presented to the queen at this point, which makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. They kind of did something similar in Downton Abbey when Rose was being presented to the king and the queen for her come out or whatever. So I'm just very interested on like how big of a role is Queen Charlotte going to play in this. I just really like her aesthetic. It's like really cool. Another character I'm really excited to see, and I just want to look at Simon again, is Lady Danbury. Now, Lady Danbury is like iconic, and you can find someone like Lady Danbury in a lot of historical romances. Like in Stephanie Lauren's Sinister series, it's Lady Oldstone. Oldstone. I can never pronounce her name, but anyway, it's like another kind of Lady Danbury. And those characters are these older women who basically can say and do whatever they want, and Lady Danbury has this cane and she uses it a lot. I'm excited. I hope she wields that thing. It's just iconic. She looks amazing. Like, she looks stunning. I pictured Lady Danbury like a little bit older than that, but I don't care. She looks amazing. The next image I want to talk about is Simon and Anthony. And Anthony's pose just exudes BDE. And I'm just like, yes. Anthony's books is one of my absolute favorites of the series. I loved The Viscount Who Loved Me, and I love his and Kate's relationship, and I hope that Kate is going to be his love interest, and I'm going to talk about like why I'm kind of worried that she won't be. I'm just really scared about it. Some people don't like Anthony because he's a bit of an asshole, but I think that Kate really stands up to him, and I love their antics together. They're kind of like pranksters. It's really fun. I just love all of their interactions. We did a podcast on this. So of course I love Anthony, but this picture right here, I'm a little bit worried because they identified the character who is kind of looking at Anthony in like a lovingly affectionate way, and they identified this character as Marina Thompson. So some of you might recognize this name, Marina Thompson, and that's because Marina Thompson in the books is a relative, a distant relative of the Bridgertons, and she marries Philip, and Philip is the love interest of Eloise. So this was his first wife, and for some reason in the show, they no longer have Marina Thompson as a relative of the Bridgertons. They have her as a relative of the Featheringtons, I believe. And why would you change a relationship with the Bridgertons if you're not going to pair her with a Bridgerton? And I'm nervous that they're going to pair her with Anthony, and it's because I love Anthony and Kate as a couple so much that this would honestly just break my heart. I'd probably really like, you know, just to see their romance develop, like as characters, as TV show characters, but I'd just be super heartbroken that Kate, one of my favorite heroines of the Bridgerton series, is just no longer gonna be there. And I'm just speculating, I'm just wondering. It could all be fine, it could all play out fine. Now, the fact that they're including Marina Thompson in this is I'm wondering if they're going to like overlap the timelines. So some of the timeline is a little bit overlapped. Will we see a little bit of Philip? Like, will we be introduced to him in this first season? Benedict's book has a little bit of a time jump. So are we gonna see the masquerade that happens at the beginning of Benedict's book? Francesca, who is actually missing from the group photo of all of the Bridgertons, and I believe that Julia Quinn said she's like visiting someone. Are they gonna introduce John? I believe her husband's name is John. Are they gonna introduce him? I'm wondering how streamlined is this timeline going to be? I'm just very curious. Do you think that they're going to have like kind of mix some elements from each book because the timeline kind of overlaps for some things? I'd honestly love to see the masquerade in season 1 and see Sophie. Personal opinion, because I think that not enough people give Benedict love. I absolutely love Benedict and Sophie. It's so good. It's a Cinderella retelling. I love it. A few other things that I'm curious about. I'm wondering if you're curious about any of these things too. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions about the series, if something that you're wanting to see adapted from the books. Do you think it's going to end up in the TV show? Like for me, is Anthony's fear of bees going to be included? It plays a huge part in his story, and I'm just wondering if that's going to be included or if they're going to nix something like that for the adaptation. Another thing I really hope that they do well is that the Bridgertons as a family are so iconic because of the way that Violet raised her children. They were very young parents, very hands-on parents, and she has such a loving maternal relationship with her children, which is not super common in those days. And I love the informality of their family, the antics at the dinner table. That's super fun. And so I'm really looking for Violet and seeing how she comes across on screen. I hope that she has a big presence because I love her involvement in her kids' life. She's just like the ultimate mom, and I just love her, and I really hope that she doesn't get like pushed to the background of the series. I love Violet, and she has a scene in Benedict's books that is just like, yeah. I'm ready. Now this is a minor character, and I'm wondering if he's going to be featured. Nigel Bearbrook. Is he going to be in this series? Because I really hope so. He's kind of like, he and his family are kind of like a running gag of this series. And I don't know, it just wouldn't be the same if Nigel wasn't there. I mean, it's fine if you have to cut something, you can cut Nigel, but I mean, he's just so funny. He's so funny. He definitely has an interaction with Daphne in The Duke and I. So I mean, possible they could put him in there. I hope the Bearbrooks make it in there. I haven't like really gone look at the cast list on IMDb. I've been trying to avoid like any kind of spoilery set photos or anything like this. Like this is the first time that I've really seen anything from the series at all, because I just don't like to go looking for those sorts of things. I will watch the trailer whenever it comes out, but like that's it. I don't want to go look for spoilery things. I'm just like speculating. I like to speculate, and I like to see if I'm right or not. One more thing, is Simon going to have his speech impediment? Is that going to play a role in his story? And he and Daphne's story? I don't know. And the reason why I asked is it kind of contributes to this element of The Duke and I that is a little controversial. Now, these books were written in the early 2000s, and of course now we're more careful about featuring certain things, consenty things, and I'm just wondering if they're going to change that up for the TV series. I'm sure that they can come up with like a different conflict between Daphne and Simon. I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering if are they gonna feature that? Do you think they'll feature that in the TV show? Or do you think they're gonna change it? Let me know in the comments what you think. All right, guys, that is all the speculation that I have for you today. If you haven't read the series, then I hope that you join in on the read-alongs. I'm so excited to be participating in it. I haven't read like the full series in a while. I have read The Viscount Who Loved Me sort of recently, and yeah, I just can't wait to revisit my characters. And I'm also want to read the Bridgertons Happily Ever After, that like kind of like the second epilogue novel. It's like a second epilogue for every single couple, and also like a bonus one for Violet. And I'm just like, I love this family so much. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, subscribe and you'll be notified on any future videos that I do. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, life's better with a little HEA. Bye, guys.